that you're already at a time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. Hope that you're already at a time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. Squad underestimated, finally won his first shit. They put the work and made some trades, yeah, that was good shit. But don't get comfortable, the league is filled with champions. Don't sleep on your opponent, better stay away from ambience. We back again, another year of PPL. Back to talk smack again, we treat it like the NFL. Time to stack your rosters up and build your best to never fail. By week 6 we take advantage, if you're weak cause we could tell. You better bring your A game, be solid like an A-frame. A new year but the same thing, you better be ready to bang bang. It's showtime, PPL live is ready to go. Gino the Jet will let you know we won't be easy, that's for sure. When the pass smacking bones crack, yeah, you gotta love that. Glad it's back, PPL is running back. Live shows speak the facts, analyze and talk the trash. Play the game to win the cash, never try to end the blast. Hope that you're already at a time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. Hope that you're already at a time of year is back. PPL live, it's time to crown another champ. 2023 to 24, it's going down. Lots of competition, only one can wear the crown. PPL live.
PPL Live, here we are, week 11, and we are ready for another great week of PPL action. Gino the Gent here with my man Ulysses S. Haight. Give him a what's up, Ulysses.
What's going on, PPL?
Yes, sir. It's time for another week of PPL Live. Week 11 is on the go. What we need to do is take an eye back to week 10 and get you set up for week 11. Starting with the Argonauts getting the big win over the Baby Gas team, 127 to 98. The Skulls sneak by, survive Monday night, 104 to 102. The GAFF attack leave no doubt in the game of the year, 162 to the Twins, 155. Squad underestimated gets the win in the week of no excuses, extends their record to 5-5, 131 to the only for the bosses 97, and appease the gods, gets back to 500, slows down the United players, 108 to 82. All right, man, Ulysses, you saw these matchups this week. Some nail biters, a lot of crucial matchups, man. What did you think of the week?
It was a great week. I mean, we saw some upsets. Some games came down to the wire, and our playoff picture is starting to show some shape at the top. But four teams at 5-5 mean a lot to be decided. No,
definitely, man. We got a lot of teams at 500 and above, so it's still a lot to be decided in the PPL. Week 10 was a week full of fireworks and a couple of surprises. And you know what time it is now. It's time to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of week 10. All right, Ulysses, let's hear it, man. What was your good, bad, and ugly of week 10? It was an action-packed week, a lot of good matchups, and some great fireworks. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of teams that I was looking at for this award, and I mean, he's got it a few times from me. It's the hottest team in the league, the GAFF. He left no doubt this week and did it in impressive form. I like how what Kenneth Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs, and that whole running game in Detroit. I mean, we've talked about it, Gino. I'm liking what that looks like and what it has in store for the PPL down the stretch.
Yeah.
CD couldn't be stopped.
Yeah.
DK probably had one of the more pedestrian weeks at 13. I love the double tight end play. Risky but high reward here with TJ Hawkinson and Trey McBride. Trey McBride seemed to be the number one target for Kyler as he got back.
Yes.
Gutsy call with the Jets deep paid out, and Lions won probably the most entertaining game of the week. what impresses me most about this is he did this with Trevor Lawrence getting a negative
Right.
2.3,
True. Very
2.9,
true.
no Jalen, no AJ. I'm just really impressed with the squad that Gaff has. And again, anytime you play somebody going 155,
Yeah.
you're expecting to lose. And again, man, hats off. This guy he blew me away with this performance and really showed why he's atop the Omega.
No, man, definitely, man. My only thing with the gaff is, why are you going Trevor Lawrence against that Niners D? This is a veteran franchise that should know better than that. That's why I couldn't give them good. They were damn near should be a unanimous for that. Definitely based on that performance. But that little attention to detail, I mean, this should have been a blowout for the Gaff if they would have took better care of that quarterback situation. But other than that, nah, man, I agree with you. They really showed out and still put up 162 despite negatives. So I'm with you there. What's your bet?
Yeah, highly impressive. Bad, man. I need about Trey Fitty. This was a matchup between the Skulls where, I mean, really the loser was going to fall out of any kind of playoff contention. And I need about Trey Fitty, man. You just don't make that change on Sunday morning. You go with the Browns coach, or hell, in fact, go with no coach in at all, and you get this. And with the performance that CJ has been putting together, guys just couldn't get launched in the middle of his lineup. Breece Hall, Etienne, Drake London. I mean, these guys just couldn't launch, and couple that with that, I mean, you just don't do anything else, and you win this matchup. Frustrating loss, and I think Trey Fitty's got to start looking into next year's campaign with this one.
No, definitely, man. Like I said, that was the matchup I thought, both of those teams needed. It was apropos that it was so close. But, I mean, it's kind of tough to go there on Trey Fitty, man, because I just feel like if the Skulls, if Trey Fitty didn't go with a coach, the Skulls might not have needed to either. So you never know how that actually would have turned out. But the matchup was extremely interesting, and it was a good one. But Trey Fitty's really got a high scoring potential the rest of the way.
I mean, that being the case, though, I mean, the Skulls had a big lead going into that game. And, I mean, if you have Josh Allen, I mean, I wouldn't have even – he did it last week. He benched the Bills coach.
Right.
He expected the Bills to win. And I think, again, that's probably something to be concerned about with the Skulls going forward.
True.
I'm saying, I think that Trey Fitty really could have won this matchup. Just, again, maybe he did a little too much this week.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Could have just left it alone.
No, definitely. No. I agree, but I'm saying – that was a tough one for both teams. I feel like that one could have truly went either way. And what's your ugly?
Ugly, UP, man, just too little, too late. I think they didn't really do any lineup changes with the buys until early Sunday morning. Heineke just couldn't get it done. Derrick Henry had a really quiet day.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the guy that really impressed me was Devin Singletary. I mean, picked him up off of free agency, and I mean, he really carried the day out there. Didn't pick up a coach, and I mean, again, I think really could have made it competitive
for sure.
Appease the gods and force them into a coach play with where it was. And, with who was available going into the night games, Jets coach was available, Raiders coach was available, Denver coach was available. Two of those three would have been winners, and again, could have changed the composition of the game. The fact that he didn't even pick a coach, it just to me is like, at 5-5 of those four teams, he's the one that I'm most concerned about being consistent down the stretch. It was an ugly loss. And again, Peace the Gods only put up 108, and I think the UP could have done a little bit of a better job putting some pieces together.
No, man, I agree with that completely. The United players are dropping the ball right now. Not taking care of business where they need to take care of business in the basics. You know that Tua's bye week's coming. You need to have contingency plans. You need to man up and make sure that things are set in place so that things don't fall apart. And things fell apart during this bye week because of irresponsibility. And the United players have definitely got to clean that up, man. I agree with you there. On my end, man, I'm looking at my good for the week is squad underestimated, man. They did what they needed to do. Huge Alpha Conference victory. This team was under 500, was playing only for the boss. in a Pantheon Cup rematch, further solidifying their victory by getting this win. Let's talk about Dak Prescott, man. 43 points. Huge day. Now, they don't get the Giants every week, so you can't expect that from Dak on a weekly basis. But it's great to get it when he's playing inferior competition, meaning you can circle Dak for a good performance if the Cowboys are playing somebody that's trash. I'm also looking at Christian McCaffrey. Even without extending his TD streak, he still ended up with 17. Great week from squad underestimated. On the back half of that Alpha Conference schedule, they need to run through it to have any chance of trying to win the Alpha Conference title, which they still have an outside shot at doing. But it started with getting that win, and it was a big win for them, man. So hats off to squad for getting that one done. My bad, man. And it's I mean, we could call it nitpicky, but you know, I'm just gonna go there and just lay it out on the line. And it's the baby gas team. Why aren't you putting in a defense? Why like this matchup with the Argonauts? Yeah, they ended up winning it anyway. They ended up winning it by a solid 30 points. So our defense may not have made a difference. But at the end of the day, the baby gas team's indifference is just showing that maybe they're not cut out for what this is about. This thing of ours. I'm just not impressed with what I'm seeing this year. I was impressed at the beginning of the year. Thought that they had turned over a new leaf, making moves. But it's just bad. And it's getting even more and more putrid just based on the fact that they can't get it done. You got to set a lineup and you got to keep yourself competitive regardless of the situation in the PPL. So I really got to look at the baby cast team sideways after the decisions they made. And they got to just do better. It was really quite that simple.
Is this team risking further ownership in the PPL if they continue to manage this way?
I think that they are. I mean, you got to look at it for what it is. I mean, you need engaged ownership in a league, I think, of this caliber. I mean, we're talking about a league that is at 15 years strong. A league that, I mean, has a weekly show that's getting commentary put on it. There's no excuse to not set your lineup in a league of this caliber. You're putting that money down. You're putting yourself on the line. And maybe that's just a sign that the prestige needs to go up for ownership as well. And my ugly this week is actually a very prestigious owner, man. And that's only for the boss. That's now 3 straight that they've lost. Putting them squarely in second place in the Alpha Conference and in danger of really falling out of the lofty position they had after their 6-game winning streak, which is where all their wins have come from now. They lost their first game, and now they've lost 3 straight. The momentum's not in the right place for the boss. Now, they do get Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce back. Didn't want to go too hard on them because I knew that they didn't have those guys. But at the same time, they needed to probably figure out a few different things themselves, maybe plan better for that coach situation and the running back spot with Zach Moss, knowing that guy was losing carries. Keaton was on that bitch breaking. So this was one that I thought slipped away from the boss, despite me giving squad the good. They took care of business, but I think only for the boss actually had an opening in this matchup and let an Alpha Conference game slip. They remember the DeMercado GAFF last week, and then letting it slip against Appease the Gods the week before. The boss just has not gotten it done the last few weeks, and it may cost them that first round bye that has really helped them over the last couple of years. But with that being said, as I love to tell you guys, and as I say week in and week out, what's past is prologue. That's over now. It's time to write a new chapter in the PPL, and we go into chapter 11, week 11 in the PPL, and we start in the Alpha Conference in a huge matchup for these teams, as we got only for the boss taking on I Need About Trey Fitty. All right, man, big one here. Trey Fitty. Only for the boss, a huge PPL matchup. Only for the boss has an outside shot of still winning that Alpha Conference title, but they cannot lose again. Trey Fitty, obviously, on the other end of this, they can't lose again either. Somebody's got to lose this one, though, man. What do you think of this one? Only for the boss taking on Trey Fitty. who is on life support, brother. I'm talking damn near flatlining. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, Trey Fiddy is on life support, and again, really couldn't have afforded to lost that matchup last week in order to stay competitive for this week season. Again, I mean, is I think positioned well to play the role of spoil sport here. This was the win that got only for the boss off the schneid last time. Got that win and went on for 6 straight. I don't like his chances this week.
Interesting, Ulysses.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the Chiefs back, but they're playing Philadelphia.
Okay.
He's relying heavily on that. This team has not been as offensively prolific. This is a Super Bowl rematch. Both teams are coming off of byes.
Right.
I expect Philly to come in with a little bit more animosity and get go.
Well, yeah, they lost.
Yeah, I mean, I like that Keaton Mitchell's in the lineup. But again, I mean, Keaton's showing flashes. Is he going to be the guy over Gus, or has he just hit big plays? We're going to find out. But I think there's some uncertainty there for me.
Okay.
The Browns' D is really good, and against Pittsburgh, I think that they could do well. Again, I'm not confident on that Chiefs coach, and it looks like Trey Fiddy maybe isn't either. They haven't selected a coach yet,
right? And
they tend to go after them early. Maybe the experience last week has them going slow here, and maybe thinking the same, that if Philly takes care of business, I don't need to play a coach.
Yeah.
CJ against Arizona should be a big day.
Okay.
I see no reason why Breece Hall can't have a big day in Buffalo on the ground. I mean, we saw what Williams did on Monday night. Etienne can definitely get a Tennessee. I think that he's got scoring potential in a lot of spaces. Dalton Kincaid showed that he's put up some points. I like the Commanders' D against New York. I just think that Trey Fiddy has more favorable matchups this week, and I think it's going to be competitive. Mm-hmm. And I think only for the boss. I mean, this is a big win, and I just don't.
Are they falling from power, Ulysses? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I mean, you highlighted them in your ugly, and I think you made some compelling points. I think that perhaps this team needs to, again, just maybe a switch up, a change. Just as far as their current configuration, they haven't been striking the fear into PPL opponents the same way that they have the past few years.
Okay.
And again, I think that they lose a matchup here. Again, are still highly competitive. But again, I need about Trey Fiddy is just trying to spoil sport here, and I think he does. I think he goes 115 to only for the bosses 106.
Okay. This is a good one. This is going to be a fun one, but I think I'm going to go the other way, man. Let's talk about it. All right, you talked about that Chiefs coach on Monday night. Trey Fiddy's not going to have a counter for that if Chiefs coach goes off. And I think that's why I'm leaning towards only for the boss. Trey Fiddy's going to have to figure out a coach, I think. This is going to be one that you're going to need all the points that you can get because you do not know what's going to come on Monday night with the Chiefs. Now, you may want to put faith in that Philadelphia defense, but let me tell you something about that Philadelphia defense, okay? Spoiler alert. One of the worst pass defenses in pro football. They're ranked 30th, okay? There's only 32 teams. You better get a coach up in there because this might be a fireworks game for Patrick Mahomes. And I think that Trey Fiddy needs to protect themselves from that. I do like Trey Fiddy's matchups other than that. I like Breece Hall over Kareem Hunt. I like Travis Etienne definitely over Keaton Mitchell. Jalen Waddle can spell Stephon Diggs. Garrett Wilson can get with Deebo Samuel. You see what I'm saying? Javonte Williams can get with Tank Dell. But at the same time, CJ Stroud going against Arizona, I love the matchup. But I really like Patrick Mahomes at home on Monday night in a Super Bowl rematch. These are the type of games that Chiefs like to rise to the occasion against. Now, I know we can argue, hey, we haven't seen that much this year, but we have seen it at times for only for the boss. They were riding a 6-game winning streak at one point, meaning the Chiefs were getting dumb. So there's enough there for me to feel like only for the boss can get back on track. Stephon Diggs had a slow day. Sauce Gardner ain't handling Stephon Diggs. I saw Devontae Adams get loose against that Jets secondary. I don't think Stephon's going to have as many issues, especially with a superior quarterback play. I like Dalton Kincaid on Trey Fiddy's side. I do like CJ against the Cardinals. And I love Travis Etienne to bounce back against that Tennessee defense. But at the end of the day, Only for the Boss has been the best team in the PPL for the better part of the last 3 seasons. And I think that they're not going to go out with a whimper with a loss against a team like Trey Fitty. Trey Fitty's in next year mode. I think that they're a team that definitely could actually bolster themselves in a lot of different ways. And I think Only for the Boss needing this for the playoff push gets it done. I got Only for the Boss getting this one, 131 to Trey Fitty's 120. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a crucial matchup in the Omega Conference. A big one in Omega. A monkey to get off their back for the Skulls as we go into this matchup. As we got the Skulls taking on the United Players, the Destroyers. All right, man, huge one here. The Skulls, their albatross is here. The United Players, the Destroyers, is what's keeping the Skulls from having their relevancy even extend in the PPL. Now it's must-win territory for the Skulls. At 4-6, they gotta put the United Players down. What do you think of this one, man? UP Skulls.
Yeah, it's always hard to judge these matchups when UP hasn't really looked at their lineup. You can tell, but based off of last week, he said it on Sunday morning, so I expect he's going to do that.
Exactly.
I expect once he does that, I think he's going to send the Skulls into next year mode. I'm not, Josh Allen may be number 1 in fantasy points, but if you look at when he last played the Jets week 1, he put up 4 points. So whatever it is that team figured it out. This team is not in good headspace. You just got an offensive coordinator essentially fired.
Not essentially, Ulysses. Literally.
I'm not sympathetic. Yeah, I mean, so whenever I look that he's got the Jets coach or the Bills tied to that, I mean, can we expect a bounce back game? Sure.
Yeah.
Did we expect Josh Allen and the Bills to play better this season? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And when I look at this, I mean, I wouldn't trust Aaron Jones, really any Green Bay Packer at this point.
Okay.
Rashad White's a good play. He's shown to be a guy
against that San Fran defense.
Against that San Francisco defense, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't like that matchup. Jamar Chase against Baltimore, they're out there playing ball. Zay Flowers, man, he had some questionable ball handling in this past week, and I expect that what I saw with Odell is that Lamar's probably going to go there a little bit.
Well, Odell wants to get done.
Well, of course he does, and I think, K. Dotton was a good spot start, but again, he's not the guy. And Darrell Henderson, I mean, there's questions out there. So I just really don't like the matchup. Lions D should probably be a good play, but when I look across the way and I look at what this is probably going to be, this is probably going to be Tua against Las Vegas, which I like. I expect DeAndre Swift to get back against Kansas City, which I like. And he's got Eagles coach, which I expect to do well. When I look at the rest of his lineup, I like Devin Singletary. I think DeAndre can get active. We saw what the wide receiving core did against Jacksonville.
Right.
They didn't know what was going on. I just think that he has better plays here, even when I look at his bench. But will he manage the lineup? I think if he does, he wins, and I think he does. I mean, I think it won't come until Sunday morning, but I think he ultimately gets this matchup. I've got the United Players returning to some scoring this week and showing that they're still going to make a play down the stretch.
Okay.
Going 123 to the Skulls 111.
Wow, the albatross stays in the Skulls' way, huh? You know what? I'm riding this horse till it dies. I'm going with the Skulls, man. I like Josh Allen actually to get back on track against that New York Jets team at home. That game on Monday night, I feel like it was an anomaly kind of game. I mean, Aaron Rodgers tore his freaking Achilles that night. It was a weird night. Aaron Jones, did you see how the Detroit Lions ran through that LA Charger defense? I know you did, Ulysses, because we were sitting there watching it together. So I'm expecting Aaron Jones to have himself a day. Now, Rashad White, I'm not feeling it as much against that San Francisco defense. But at the same time, to be fair to Rashad, he's balling right now. And honestly, he has a chance. Jamar Chase is going to be real interesting tomorrow night. I mean, Skulls are coming out like right out the gate with both their top receivers. Receiver 1 and receiver 2 going straight at the United players tomorrow night, right at their face. It's going to be interesting to see. I love the Darrell Henderson play in the flex. That Seattle run defense ain't all that great. I am concerned about Cade Otton, but Darren Waller's not back, and Cade Otton has been getting targets. Now, on the United players side, Derrick Henry, I actually love him against Jacksonville. He tends to kill the Jaguars for whatever reason. Like the D-Hop play if he goes there. But like you said, it's kind of hard to really predict what the United players are going to do. Because I do expect to see DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, and Tua Tagovailoa back in that lineup. Swift and Pacheco play Monday night, meaning this matchup can get weird. But at the same time, when I really look at it, Chase and Flowers playing against each other on Thursday night. Thursday night's always hard to predict, but I think Jamar Chase has got enough to get loose against that Baltimore defense. And I think Zay Flowers makes a few plays. At the end of the day, I'm thinking that the Bills actually bounce back in the divisional matchup. Maybe a big win for them. And they get a 20-point coach win behind the quarterback coach calling plays. Maybe he's a little bit more in tune with Josh and what Josh wants to do, and they find a way to get it done. Tua, against that Las Vegas defense coming off of the bye. They're the number 7 ranked pass defense in the PPL, so we'll see what happens. I've got the Skulls finding a way to get by in this matchup against an uninterested United players team. My bad for this week. I got the Skulls getting this one 117 to the United players 107. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one in the Alpha Conference. Big one for the defending Pantheon Cup champs. We got Squad underestimated going up against the Baby Gas team. All right, man, big one. Squad underestimated, flexed muscle last week. My good, looked great in that matchup. Dak Prescott, a former Pantheon Cup champion, showed why. Flexing muscle in that matchup. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill is now back in the lineup, going up against a team that is waving the white flag. But this week, at least, they have a full lineup set, cocked and ready to go. What do you think of this one, Baby Gas Team Squad?
Yeah, I mean, I've got this as my lock of the week. You hit it earlier with your bad. I mean, BGT's actually running a lineup here, but again, I mean, he's not really touching anything.
Okay.
And so, again,
I think that might be to his benefit this week, Ulysses, but go ahead.
No, and I will say, like, that is to his benefit this week. And, I mean, again, it's surprising that, nobody has a bye, but trust, if somebody had a bye, they'd still be in the lineup.
Right.
I know that the owner on the other side's looking to avenge that week 2 loss, one of only 3 that the BGT got.
Right.
And, I mean, this guy's scoring at a pretty high clip right now. After a few pretty poor efforts, it got Dak Prescott. And, I mean, that's been an impressive pickup for this team and really filled a hole at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
He's traditionally gone to the Dallas Cowboys to fill needs. And so seeing him go there again isn't necessarily a surprise.
Yeah.
I expect Christian McCaffrey to have a big game after being held out of the end zone for the first time in over a season. I expect that will be a big emphasis for this team, and I expect him to get in the end zone early. Tyreek shouldn't have a problem. Sam Laporta has been a great find, and I mean might be up to keeper status when it's all said and done.
Okay.
I like what he's got put together here, and I just really think that he's on a totally different trajectory than the BGT. Now, if he loses this, he's got major problems. But I think I've got him as my lock of the week. I think he's going to pay enough attention and find a way to win. I've got Squad going 131 to the Baby Gas team's 108.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you, man, but I honestly could see this being like another upset like week 2 for a couple of reasons, but I'm not gonna even go there. I'm gonna go with Squad underestimated. Okay, so when I look at this matchup, Joe Burrow plays tomorrow at Baltimore. I think Joe Burrow could probably have a pretty big day and get Baby Gas team out to a nice, comfortable start. and really set the matchup up from there. When I look down the line, could Josh Jacobs have a better game against Miami, who's going to score a lot of points, probably have some garbage time for Josh to get done, and their run defense isn't great, going against Saquon Barkley, who's questionable at Washington? I think I would like Josh Jacobs better in that matchup. Now, Joe Mixon at Baltimore against Christian McCaffrey, that's easy. That's Christian. Tyreek Hill against Deontay Johnson, Tyreek Hill. Brandon Ayuk against Adam Thielen is actually where things kind of start to get interesting. Because Adam Thielen actually steals a lot of late receptions in games when they're playing from behind, and they will definitely be playing from behind against the Dallas defense. Now, Brandon Ayuk, I expect the 49ers, they actually could get ahead and start running the clock out, which will favor McCaffrey, but kind of slow Ayuk down. I like Evan Ingram and Sam Laporta. That's an even matchup because when Trevor Lawrence got flustered last week, we watched the game together. What did he do? He started trying to force it to Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk. So those two guys are going to be targeted regardless of the situation. Puka Nacua, Mike Evans is also another wash. Dolphins D got a great matchup. Niners D has a good matchup. Wash. It's really a tough one, man. It's tougher than you might think it is, but at the end of the day, SWAT underestimated guys are better and are more proven, so that they're the better matchup. So I'm going to go there at the end of the day. Squad underestimated wins this one. I'm going to go with the projection, 136 to the Baby Gas team's 122. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one in the OMEAGA Conference. Two teams with the same record. A Pantheon Cup 7 rematch. The first two OMEAGA teams to see each other in a Pantheon Cup rivalry renewed in the PPL. Probably OMEGA's greatest rivalry. We got Patty's Twins going against Appease the Gods. All right, we got the Empress against the High Priest, man. What do you think of this one? Patty's Twins against ATG.
Yeah, I think that this is going to probably have Patty's Twins having heart palpitations like they were last week.
Oh!
I expect. Yeah, I mean, you know, this team really thrives on getting at certain teams.
Right.
And again, we know that they're going to be wanting to go ATG. And hey, we already saw, I mean, was definitely not confident with what's going on in free agency at the quarterback position.
Right.
Ended up surrendering T. Higgins.
Yeah. What did you think of that trade, Ulysses?
I mean, I think that she got value. I mean, if I was on the other side, I mean, I probably would have won Brock Purdy, honestly, if I was the Argos and tried to trade off Herbert. Just saying, I mean, I think Brock Purdy is in a better position long term with what he's got in San Francisco. But hey, a different point. I think that the fact that the Twins bringing somebody in here shows how much this matchup means to them, and I think Brock definitely will be a shot in the arm. Yeah, she's got the coach as well, so she's all in on that position anyway. Yeah, Austin Eckler going against Green Bay. I mean, there's no reason to believe that they won't. That team has played pretty poorly at home. Yeah. This is where it gets a little bit more tricky, though. Their running back depth has been an issue this season. Jonathan Taylor just got back, and now he's on the bye. So as of right now, the options are Dameon Pierce and Antonio Gibson, who are both carrying an injury designation. I think she has to go to free agency here, and that's going to be a big roll the dice. Now, you know, you can find it. I mean, we saw what UP did last week and got Singletary. Mm-hmm. But that's the big question mark. Now, Keenan Allen got a little banged up, but again, he went wild. Again, my one thing with these guys for the Chargers is I could see them getting up so much that game doesn't get competitive anymore, and that a banged up team gets a little bit of rest. I think Amon-Ra should have a field day in Chicago. Terrible pass defense out there. Tyler Higbee might. I mean, we'll see what happens with the quarterback position there, because without Stafford, it's highly questionable. Love Jordan Addison. Steelers should have a field day against whoever's playing quarterback at Cleveland now. And I look at the other side, man, Lamar. It's like, when is he going to deliver for ATG? The last few weeks have been very lackluster.
Right.
In fact, he gave away the game last week, played poorly here and ultimately cost Trey Fitty the win.
Yeah.
I like Brian Robinson. I mean, he's showing ways to get involved, not just in the rush game, but in the pass game, and I think, really forced ATG to get him into the starting lineup, just on where he factors in that offense.
Yeah.
David Montgomery showed why he was kept. DJ Moore makes an appearance as Justin Fields is coming back, which is a big-time piece that I think ATG needs for this matchup.
Yeah.
Coming with Devonta Smith. I mean, again, Super Bowl rematch, I think he wants that. Mark Andrews, again, quiet without Lamar getting dumb, and Raheem gets back. He's going Chiefs D against Philadelphia, which could be risky, but Jalen Hurts was a little bit banged up towards the end of that last game. We'll see what the week of rest does, but I think with what he saw them do against Miami, he's going to be hard-pressed not to start this defense for the time being, and he went out and got the Vikings coach. Ultimately, I think that this is a highly competitive matchup and is worthy of what it represents, but I think at the end of the day, ATG finds a way here and gets a very close matchup, 127 to 125.
All right. I agree with you, man. I think ATG is going to get this one, but I got to disagree with you on that Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert take. Justin Herbert's the far superior quarterback, and trust me, I love me some Brock. I love Brock Purdy, but Justin Herbert is far superior as far as individual player to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's in the better situation. I mean, if we put Justin Herbert on the 49ers, God, let's not even go there. All right, anyway, this matchup. I got only for the boss in this one. Or excuse me, appease the gods in this matchup. I love Lamar Jackson trying to get back on track on Thursday night at home against Cincinnati. This is a matchup that's going to get Lamar's attention. This is a matchup that he's not going to be so careless and try to fuck around. He's going to actually get on the ball. I like Brian Robinson Jr. against that New York Giants defense, man, at home. He is a guy that I think ATG's got to kind of just trust, just based on the fact that he's like David Montgomery in a lot of ways. He's going to get goal line carries. He's going to be able to break off big runs, and he's a load to bring to the ground. He's a very, very talented running back. I like DJ Moore getting into that lineup. I think Chicago's going to be playing from behind a lot of that matchup. And with Justin Fields coming back, he's going to force feed DJ Moore the football. Devonta Smith is another great late play on Monday night. He's one of my favorite players in the whole league. I talk about this guy every single week. I think that with A.J. Brown attracting top coverage, I think that this is going to actually be a game that Devonta Smith gets done if Jalen knows to look to the other side of the field. Now, on the Twins side, I do like Brock Purdy coming to the team. Don't get me wrong. I know I said that Justin Herbert's better than him, but that's just my opinion. Brock Purdy has been very, very productive, and it was a great play for the Twins to get him for T. Higgins, who only really had one great week for them. They get they fill a need that they've needed to fill pretty much all season long, so it was a great trade for the Twins. But what's going to really turn this matchup for me on the Twins side is the fact that Jonathan Taylor is unavailable and Keenan Allen is questionable. That is huge for the Twins. He obviously is he stirs the cup. I mean, he's the straw that stirs the cup for Patty's Twins. If he plays, obviously he gives them a huge chance at victory. But if he doesn't, they don't win. He didn't practice today, so that is a sign that things may not be good with that shoulder. Now, everybody else looks all right. Tyler Higbee gets back into that lineup. But I just like Mark Andrews better. At the end of the day, I like ATG a little bit better. Not as sold on that Vikings coach, but they can still get that win. At the end of the day, I got ATG getting on track, staying on track with this win, and getting into second place in the OMEAGA conference. I got ATG getting this one 122 to Patty's Twins 110. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week. Big one in the PPL. We go in interconference for the prestige matchup of the week. A rematch of Pantheon Cup 2. a big one. The top 2 teams in the PPL, the best records in the PPL in a late season matchup. Couldn't ask for nothing better. Omega's best against Alpha's best. First place against first place. This one could actually decide the number 1 seed in the PPL. Tell me what you think of this one, brother. We got a big one. The GAFF attack of Omega taking on the Argonauts of the Alpha Conference.
Yeah, I mean, this promises everything. Honestly, a matchup could. And I mean, the really unfortunate part here is that we're still without Justin Jefferson in this lineup. But A-Train is looking to come back. And as I'm looking at these matchups, I think it's going to take an effort from the Argos. I'm looking at the GAFF, and again, Jalen was banged up, but is expected to play. Him and AJ coming in the lineup mean everything. Kenneth Walker should absolutely run all over the LA Rams. I don't think that they've got the type of defense that are going to stop his top 5 campaign. And Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, that game in Chicago, I think, if anything, Jahmyr should factor, but I expect David Montgomery to play with a little bit more rah-rah. This is former team, and they're hosting. So I expect him to get at that guy. CD playing Carolina's favorable. TJ at Denver, they're starting to pick up their game, but he was banged up in that last game. I think the Jags D is probably a good play. Tennessee started okay, but very spotty in the last few weeks, especially, have not looked good. And I think the Lions coach is about as close to a lock pick as you can get. When I look at what the Argos got, love the Justin Herbert against Green Bay play again, especially in Green Bay. I think normally, in years past, that this would be a much more competitive matchup. I think he has a field day.
You sure they should have traded him?
Well, I think honestly, I think that this may be a trade that comes back to beat the Argos. I'm not talking about this week or potentially even this season. I'm talking as far as a franchise player.
I see.
You said it. I think that they've really put the pieces around Purdy, and again, I think that he's going to long term be a good play. Again,
I got you.
This week, both were highly serviceable. Trust, ATG's very happy that Justin Herbert wasn't traded to the Twins.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been detrimental this week. But Devontae, I mean, with new coach comes new culture, and he knows who to throw the ball to. Devontae is going to get fed. Cooper Kupp is relying on a quarterback here, but all indications are Stafford's coming back. Kittle balled out. I like the Cowboy double move on Carolina. They've shown to be highly beatable here. The question marks are at the running back position, and I think I'd be going Gus Edwards over probably at this point Tony Pollard. I'm not impressed with Tony. We all just saw what the Dallas Cowboys did last week, and Tony wasn't really a factor. And I think that they've even shown when they're up, they're going to be throwing the ball. And I think that that's an acknowledgement that they don't have that guy underneath, that banger. And I think we're seeing that in Tony's production. I wouldn't be playing Tony right now. I think Gus Edwards has shown, even though the young cat is getting some more carries, I'd even be going Najee probably and just take both of those running backs in that Pittsburgh-Cleveland game again, and just say, hey, we're gonna get on the ground. We're gonna play some old school NFL football here with both quarterback. Well, with Kenny Pickett still being a bum, I stick to it, and Deshaun Watson being out for the season. I expect that game to be run heavy, and I think that he could actually get more points out of a Gus Edwards. I think it's ultimately going to take a leave no doubt performance for the Argos to get it done, as I expect the GAFF to bring it. But I think that they do that, and I think the Argos win this matchup 143 to the GAF's 139.
You got a true. I mean, we basically GAFF it back in the same situation they were in last week in a game of the year situation. Man, I think I'm gonna go the other way though. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. You talked about it against that Chicago defense, man. He's starting to look like the breakaway. I mean, as the season's going along, he's starting to look like the guy who was the pick, even over Bijan. Bijan's not getting the same opportunities, and he's not in an offense that's able to exploit his talents like Jameer is right now. I like A.J. Brown on Monday night. I know I said that he would get coverage drawn his way, but it's a Super Bowl rematch. I think that he's going to be effective in that game. There's nobody on Carolina that can stop CeeDee Lamb. T.J. Hawkinson's an anomaly at the tight end position, and I really, really, really like DK Metcalf against that Rams secondary on that afternoon game. Kenneth Walker also in that game. That game should be very, very high scoring. It's an NFC West showdown, and it's going to be one that the Seahawks need to keep pace with San Francisco. That Lions coach is a lock, as you said. Now, on the Argonaut side, they got room for optimism to win this matchup. They definitely match up not bad with the GAFF attack. But let's talk about who's been producing this season. The Argonauts got guys that have names from previous seasons. Now, other than Herbert and Kittle and the Dallas defense, nobody else is even remotely close to top 10. This is easily one for the GAFF, and I think that they get it with their studs back, including Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Make a stamp and show that the Omega Conference is superior this season. Alpha is in a rut, and I got Omega showing that through the GAFF attack, getting this big win and securing the number 1 seed in the Pantheon League. I got the GAFF attack in a leave no doubt performance winning this one, 149 to the Argonauts, 132. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did. Good luck. Have a good week, and may the odds be ever in your favor. See you guys next week for Week 12.